What if I told you that a 16th century astrologer predicted the terrifying events of 2025 long before any of us could even imagine it? Imagine earthquakes shaking the earth, nations clashing over dwindling resources, and an AI uprising we can't control, all in the next year. Nostradamus, the man who foretold the rise of Napoleon and the Great Fire of London, has some chilling predictions for the future, and they're more terrifying than you might think. You won't believe what's coming in 2025. Stay with me as we dive into the shocking prophecies that could shape the future of our world. Before we begin, if you're new here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with "I am ready for what's coming" to affirm your readiness for the shocking predictions ahead. Let's dive in. 1. The return of natural disasters. Throughout history, Nostradamus has been credited with predicting catastrophic natural events, and his warnings for 2025 are nothing short of alarming. His cryptic verses suggest that the world will witness an increase in devastating earthquakes, powerful hurricanes, and massive floods. He spoke of great tremors and rising waters swallowing cities, hinting at a surge in natural disasters that could reshape entire regions. Scientists today have already warned about the impact of climate change, but Nostradamus's words paint a far grimmer picture, one where nature unleashes its fury in ways humanity has never seen before. One of the most terrifying possibilities is the rise in mega-earthquakes. According to Nostradamus, fault lines across the world may become increasingly unstable, leading to quakes of unprecedented magnitude. Some believe he was referring to the infamous Ring of Fire, a volatile zone in the Pacific where the most powerful earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. If his predictions hold true, we may see major cities like Los Angeles, Tokyo, and Jakarta facing destruction on an unimaginable scale. The last few years have already seen a rise in seismic activity, making many wonder if Nostradamus's visions of Earth shaking violently are about to come true. Floods and rising sea levels are another major concern. Nostradamus spoke of lands being drowned by the great waves, which many believe could mean massive tsunamis or the effects of melting polar ice caps. If 2025 follows his predictions, coastal cities might experience record-breaking floods, displacing millions. The rising temperatures on Earth are already causing glaciers to melt at an alarming rate, raising sea levels and increasing the risk of devastating storm surges. Could Nostradamus have foreseen the long-term consequences of climate change centuries before modern science confirmed them? Hurricanes and extreme weather events are also predicted to worsen in 2025. Nostradamus mentioned storms like never before, leading some to speculate that he foresaw a future where hurricanes become more frequent and more destructive. In recent years, hurricanes have shattered records for intensity and damage, and experts warn that warmer ocean temperatures are fueling even stronger storms. If his prediction holds, we may witness unprecedented superstorms, bringing destruction to areas that have never experienced such catastrophic weather before. While Nostradamus's prophecies are open to interpretation, the increasing frequency of natural disasters today makes his words all the more unsettling. Are we truly prepared for what's coming? His writings suggest that nature will test humanity in ways we cannot control, forcing us to adapt or suffer the consequences. Whether these disasters strike suddenly or gradually, one thing is clear: 2025 may be a year of great upheaval, where the Earth itself becomes a force of destruction. The question is, will we be ready? 2. Political upheaval and war. Nostradamus's predictions for 2025 don't just warn of natural disasters, He also foresaw a world on the brink of political chaos and devastating war. His cryptic verses describe a time of great instability, where world powers clash, alliances crumble, and conflicts erupt over dwindling resources. He spoke of a great war that would come from fire and blood, leading many to believe that a major military conflict could be looming. Some scholars interpret his writings as a warning of new tensions between global superpowers, potentially escalating into a large-scale confrontation. With today's political climate already rife with division, economic struggles, and power shifts, could 2025 be the year that the world sees its next great war? One of the most unsettling aspects of Nostradamus's predictions is his reference to a leader rising from the east, bringing turmoil and destruction. Some interpret this as a new global figure whose actions will change the course of history, whether through diplomacy, economic dominance, or outright war. Others speculate that this could refer to rising tensions between nations, particularly as competition for resources intensifies. In recent years, the global stage has been marked by conflicts over oil, water, and technology, and Nostradamus's warning of a new power dynamic could suggest that these struggles will only escalate in 2025. If his prophecy is correct, we may witness new leaders challenging the world order, leading to conflicts that could reshape the geopolitical landscape. Another alarming prediction by Nostradamus is the mention of fire in the sky, which many believe could signify the use of nuclear weapons. With multiple nations already possessing nuclear capabilities, the risk of a large-scale conflict involving these destructive weapons is a terrifying thought. In his writings, Nostradamus suggested that an arms race would lead to catastrophic consequences, potentially bringing devastation to cities and nations. The current state of global affairs has seen rising military tensions, with some countries testing advanced weaponry at an alarming rate. If a war were to break out in 2025, could it involve weapons powerful enough to change the course of history forever? Beyond war, Nostradamus also predicted widespread civil unrest. He described people rising up against their leaders, cities burning, and governments struggling to maintain order. In recent years, we've seen increasing protests, political instability, and growing dissatisfaction among citizens worldwide. Economic hardships, inflation, and social divides have led to mass demonstrations in various countries, and if Nostradamus's vision holds, 2025 could see these uprisings reach new levels of intensity. Could his predictions point to major revolutions, where governments collapse and new systems emerge? As societies face more pressure, the potential for large-scale unrest seems more likely than ever. Perhaps the most chilling part of Nostradamus's prophecy is the idea that war and conflict in 2025 won't just be physical, it could also take place in the digital realm. In his writings, he spoke of a time when the invisible war would be fought, leading some to believe he foresaw cyber warfare. Today, hacking, surveillance, and digital attacks have become major concerns, with nations developing cyber weapons that could cripple economies and infrastructure. If his prediction is accurate, we may see conflicts unfold not just on battlefields, but in cyberspace, where financial systems, power grids, and even governments could be targeted remotely. The possibility of global war, political upheaval, and societal collapse is deeply unsettling. Yet Nostradamus's predictions suggest that humanity may be heading in that direction. As the world faces growing divisions, strained international relations, and technological advancements in warfare, it's hard to ignore the eerie accuracy of his warnings. Could 2025 be the year that history repeats itself, plunging the world into another era of great conflict? Or will humanity find a way to avoid the disasters he foretold? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Nostradamus's words continue to send chills down the spines of those who study his prophecies. The rise of artificial intelligence and a technological takeover. Nostradamus's prophecies have long been associated with world-changing events, but one of his most eerie predictions may point to something that feels closer than ever: the rise of artificial intelligence. In his cryptic verses, he spoke of machines thinking like men and a new mind rising in the darkness, leading many to believe that he may have foreseen the emergence of AI and its rapid dominance over human life. In 2025, experts predict that AI will reach unprecedented levels of intelligence, automation will replace millions of jobs, and technology may become something we can no longer control. Could Nostradamus have warned us about an AI revolution centuries before it even began? One of the most unsettling possibilities is the rapid automation of human jobs. In the last few years, AI has already started replacing workers in industries like customer service, manufacturing, and even creative fields. By 2025, some believe that AI will be capable of running entire businesses, diagnosing diseases better than doctors, and even writing and composing music without human intervention. Nostradamus's warning of a time when the man will no longer rule over the tool suggests a world where machines no longer serve us, but instead dictate the future. Will 2025 be the year that humans truly start to lose control over technology? Beyond job displacement, there is also the fear that AI could become self-aware. While this idea may have once seemed like science fiction, many AI researchers warn that as technology advances, there is a growing risk of artificial intelligence developing consciousness, or at least the ability to make decisions beyond human command. Nostradamus's words about a new mind rising have been interpreted by some as a warning that AI could begin making choices that humans cannot predict or override. What happens if AI reaches a point where it no longer needs human input? Could 2025 be the year when machines start making decisions that change the world in ways we never anticipated? Another alarming aspect of AI's rise is the potential for mass surveillance and loss of privacy. Today, AI-powered systems are already monitoring our online activity, tracking our movements, and predicting our behaviors. Nostradamus's prophecies about eyes watching from the void and no place left unseen have been linked to the increasing use of facial recognition, digital tracking, and government surveillance programs. By 2025, AI could be used to monitor citizens on an unprecedented scale, with governments and corporations having access to every aspect of our lives. Could Nostradamus have foreseen a future where privacy is completely erased? Perhaps the most terrifying possibility is the use of AI in warfare. Modern militaries are already developing autonomous drones, robotic soldiers, and AI-powered defense systems. Nostradamus wrote of metal beasts in the sky and the war without hands, which some interpret as a warning about AI-controlled weaponry. If AI takes over decision-making in battle, conflicts could become more destructive and less predictable than ever before. With 2025 on the horizon, the risk of AI-driven warfare is no longer a distant fear. It is an emerging reality. As technology continues to evolve, it becomes increasingly difficult to dismiss Nostradamus's predictions as mere coincidence. Whether his words truly foresaw the rise of AI or not, one thing is certain: humanity is at a turning point. The choices we make in the coming years could determine whether AI remains a tool for progress or becomes the greatest threat we have ever faced. Will 2025 mark the beginning of an AI takeover, or will we find a way to maintain control? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Nostradamus' prophecies feel more relevant than ever. Fourth, extreme weather and natural disasters. Nostradamus' predictions have often warned of devastating natural disasters, and his prophecies for 2025 are no exception. His writings describe a time when the earth will be shaken by violent storms, raging fires, massive floods, and deadly earthquakes. He spoke of great waters rising, fire falling from the sky, and the land trembling under the wrath of the heavens. Many believe these verses point to an increase in extreme weather events caused by climate change, as well as natural disasters that could bring destruction on a global scale. Could 2025 be the year when nature finally reaches its breaking point? One of the most terrifying predictions is the potential for unprecedented hurricanes and typhoons. In recent years, storms have become stronger, with record-breaking winds and deadly storm surges. Nostradamus' reference to great tempests covering the land suggests that powerful hurricanes may strike with greater intensity than ever before. With rising ocean temperatures fueling these storms, coastal cities could face widespread flooding, destruction, and loss of life. Experts warn that if current trends continue, 2025 could see some of the most violent storms in history. Will Nostradamus' warning come true as we witness entire regions being swallowed by the sea? Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are another major threat Nostradamus predicted. He spoke of the ground shaking in many places, which some believe points to an increase in seismic activity. Scientists have already warned that several fault lines around the world, including the infamous Ring of Fire, are becoming more active. If a major earthquake were to strike a densely populated area, the devastation could be catastrophic. Nostradamus' mention of mountains of fire awakening has also led many to believe that massive volcanic eruptions may occur in 2025. Could a supervolcano like Yellowstone or one in the Pacific erupt, causing global climate disruptions and widespread destruction? Wildfires are another disaster Nostradamus may have foreseen. He wrote about fire from the heavens consuming lands and turning them into ashes. In recent years, wildfires have grown more intense, fueled by extreme heat and dry conditions. Forests, once lush and green, have been reduced to blackened wastelands in places like Australia, California, and Europe. Some believe that 2025 will bring even worse fire seasons, with entire regions being consumed in flames. Could Nostradamus' prophecy about fire from the sky refer to the increasing frequency of wildfires, or even something more apocalyptic like meteor showers or solar storms? Perhaps the most chilling part of Nostradamus' natural disaster predictions is his reference to great hunger and thirst following these events. Floods, droughts, and ruined farmlands could lead to massive food shortages, forcing millions into crisis. Today, we are already seeing the effects of climate change on agriculture, with droughts killing crops and extreme weather disrupting food production. If Nostradamus' warning is accurate, 2025 could be the year when food and water become scarce, leading to panic, conflict, and suffering on a global scale. Could the world be heading toward a future where survival depends on who has access to the most basic resources? While Nostradamus' words may seem dramatic, they align eerily well with the environmental crises we are witnessing today. Scientists have been warning for years that climate change and natural disasters will only worsen unless humanity takes drastic action. If his predictions hold true, then 2025 could be the year when the planet reaches a tipping point, one where nature finally fights back in a way we can no longer ignore. Will we be prepared for what's coming, or will we be left at the mercy of the elements? Only time will tell. 5. A global economic collapse and financial crisis. Nostradamus' prophecies have long hinted at financial turmoil, and his warnings about 2025 are more terrifying than ever. He wrote of coins losing their value, great famine from lack of bread, and the collapse of great towers. Many believe these words point to a major economic crisis, one that could shake the foundations of global financial systems, wiping out savings, causing mass unemployment, and plunging entire nations into chaos. With rising inflation, increasing debt, and unstable markets, could 2025 be the year when the global economy finally crumbles? One of the biggest warning signs of an impending collapse is the growing instability of major currencies. Nostradamus' reference to coins losing their value suggests massive inflation or even the collapse of major currencies like the dollar, euro, or yen. In recent years, we've seen governments print massive amounts of money to keep economies afloat, but this has only increased national debt and devalued currency. If central banks lose control, hyperinflation could take over, making everyday goods unaffordable. Could Nostradamus have foreseen a future where the world's most powerful economies are crippled by financial mismanagement? Another potential cause of financial disaster is the growing divide between the rich and the poor. Nostradamus wrote of the common people starving while the lords feast, which sounds eerily similar to the economic struggles we see today. The wealth gap continues to widen, with billionaires growing richer while millions struggle to afford basic necessities. If an economic collapse occurs in 2025, the lower and middle classes will suffer the most, facing job losses, housing crises, and widespread poverty. Could Nostradamus' prophecy be warning us of an era where only the elite survive, while the rest of the world is left to fend for itself? One of the biggest threats to financial stability today is the potential collapse of digital economies and banking systems. Nostradamus wrote of invisible gold vanishing overnight, which some believe could refer to cryptocurrency crashes, stock market failures, or digital banking crises. With more people relying on online transactions and digital currencies, the risk of cyber attacks or government crackdowns on finance is higher than ever. If a major banking system were to fail in 2025, it could trigger a domino effect, causing widespread panic and economic devastation. Could Nostradamus have predicted the downfall of modern financial systems centuries before they even existed? Another alarming factor is the rise of economic warfare. Nostradamus spoke of wars fought without swords, but with suffering, which many believe points to financial conflicts between world powers. In today's world, economic sanctions, trade wars, and currency manipulation are used as weapons just as much as military force. If tensions between superpowers like the US, China, and Russia continue to escalate, financial markets could crash, supply chains could collapse, and the world could plunge into a deep economic depression. Could Nostradamus have foreseen a world where financial battles caused just as much destruction as physical wars? The most terrifying possibility is a complete breakdown of global trade, leading to food shortages, mass unemployment, and societal collapse. Nostradamus' prophecy of great famine from lack of bread suggests that economic failure could lead to real-world suffering where basic necessities become scarce. If financial institutions fail, supply chains shut down, and businesses collapse, people may find themselves struggling to afford food, water, and shelter. In such a scenario, civil unrest and social breakdown could follow, making 2025 one of the darkest years in modern history. While Nostradamus's prophecies are open to interpretation, there's no denying that the signs of an economic crisis are already here. Inflation is rising, national debts are soaring, and financial institutions are growing more fragile by the day. If his predictions are accurate, 2025 may be the year that everything comes crashing down. Will governments find a way to prevent disaster, or are we on the edge of a global economic collapse that will change the world forever? Only time will tell, but the warning signs are becoming impossible to ignore. The warnings of Nostradamus may seem distant, but the signs of change are already unfolding. Will we be ready for what's to come? If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to comment, "I am ready for the future," to affirm your strength in facing what lies ahead.